I would say housing is foundational for families to be healthy. If you are not safe, secure, stable in housing, nothing else works. No other interventions work. We can put Band-Aids on things, but you cannot meaningfully help people get healthy, make better choices, be present for their children if they are afraid every day about where they're going to be living, or if they're not going to have utilities, or if their housing is going to fall down around them, or if they can't afford it. It is just absolutely foundational.
We are part of a national consortium called the Healthy Brain and Child Development Study. And what's special about this study is that a quarter of our sample are moms who have some sort of substance use during pregnancy. And I started in animal models. And one of the best animal models that we have to look at things like maternal stress or maternal mental health it's a model called the restricted bedding model. And so all you do is you give a mom mouse or a rat just enough bedding to make a really awful nest. If you do that, what she does then is she'll make a nest, she'll not be happy with it, she'll drag her pups around, she'll make a new nest, she'll step on them, she doesn't nurse them as long, and just her behavior completely crumbles. You can't provide safe housing, a place for them. That disrupts all of her maternal care.
Trauma is the gateway to addiction. Trauma is often because people were not cared for by their primary caregiver the way they needed to be, and so we have to heal that disruption to the foundation of self-worth and relationships with others much later in life when other traumas have been piled on top of it, and it is so difficult at that point.
I have to work on myself on a daily basis. The spiritual principles that I've learned and that I practice, as far as like acceptance and surrender, like willingness, all of that helps me be a better mother. I have been clean 4.5 years. Why I got clean was because I was pregnant. I had no idea how to stop. I was depressed. I had already lost custody of my other kids. Didn't think I deserved anything. I thought I had failed as a mother, as a woman, all around. I knew I needed treatment. The caseworker at the hospital and my PRS started suggesting places in Roanoke where I could go. All of them, I couldn't take my daughter. So I said no. My daughter was in the NICU unit because she was born premature. One of the times I came to visit, they told me that they were moving her from my custody.
So the biggest issue that mothers have when seeking treatment is where will their children live? That is probably one of the #1 barriers to women being willing to seek treatment, and that is why statistically we see men outnumber women in treatment 2 to 1.
When I first toured the Grove, I shed a tear because I was just so grateful and so happy for the women that were coming in here. I feel like it would have been so different for me. I would have definitely been able to keep my daughter. That's one of my biggest regrets. That's one of the guilt and shames I live. People that are in our inpatient treatment are going home to places where someone is actively using, where someone is physically beating on them, where there's no food, where the utilities might be cut off, but actually having like all of that provided for you, because like we can't even think about recovery if we don't have our basic necessities.
It's everything. You just see people breathe a deep sigh of relief and then lean in to the care that they need to get better.
I think the support and the resources and the community that the women and their children are offered here is setting them up for success.
And we know that there are a few really big but key elements to helping them maintain stability. One of those things is childcare. Another is meaningful work with a living wage, which is no small feat these days. And above all of that is housing. When we help women and children in our community, it lifts everyone up. The rising tide carries us all kind of energy.
I get to talk to so many different people, and it just helps you, it gives you perspective, and it honestly reminds you of how good people are, which sounds so kind of hokey, but it's really true. That even people that feel themselves like they are not worth anything, which I've worked with a lot of women with substance use during pregnancy, particularly opioids. They don't think very highly of themselves, and they're my favorite group to work with because I get to help them see how strong they are, and that's not something that you get to do every day.
I believe that you can have motivations to get you into recovery, to get you start working towards recovery. My kids were mine. My ultimate goal was to get my kids back. My kids tell me all the time that, like, Mom, I've seen what you've got through, and I know that, how strong you are, and I know I can get in through anything as well.